Our top focus in this edition, Russian President Vladimir Putin met his Mongolian counterpart in the capital. This is his first visit to a member of the International Criminal Court that has issued a warrant, remember, for his arrest last year. The Mongolian president greeted Putin. This was a grand ceremony, a grand welcome ceremony, which featured top officials from both sides. Russia and Mongolia are planning several economic and industrial projects. Among those is the construction of the Trans-Mongolian gas pipeline linking China and Russia. The pipeline is expected to carry 50 billion cubic meters of natural gas a year from its Yamal region to China via Mongolia. These are expected to feature in the talks between the Russian president and his Mongolian counterpart, which have now begun.
The relations with Mongolia are among the priorities of our foreign policy in Asia. They have been brought to a high level of comprehensive strategic partnership.
President Putin is wanted by the International Criminal Court for alleged illegal deportation of Ukrainian children since his troops invaded the country in 2022. The ICC, remember, had issued a warrant for his arrest in March 2023. Even though Russia does not recognize the jurisdiction of the ICC, Amnesty International has warned that Mongolia's failure to arrest Putin could further undermine the ICC's legitimacy and embolden Putin. A spokesman for the Mongolian president has denied reports that the ICC had sent a letter asking it to execute the warrant when he visits. The ICC said last week that all its members had an obligation to detain those sought by the court. According to legal experts, in fact, if Mongolia fails to comply, it will likely face prosecution over its inaction. Meanwhile, Ukraine has called on Mongolia to execute the arrest warrant and had Putin over to the court. It has accused Mongolia of sharing responsibility for Putin's war crimes by failing to arrest him. The European Union has also expressed concern over the matter. While Mongolia has not condemned Russia's Ukraine offensive, it abstained during voting on the conflict in the United Nations. And for more on these developments, with us on the broadcast this minute is Joachim Bitterlich, former German ambassador to the NATO. Thanks very much for being here with us. Let me begin by asking you for your assessment of what this visit means for Putin and for the ICC, given the backdrop against which this visit is taking place and the demands that have been made regarding the ICC arrest warrant.
Well, it's clear from the outset that Mongolia will not execute the warrant. It was clear. And therefore, the more the Western media or the media speak about this non-execution, the more Putin will be the winner and the ICC and Ukraine and others the losers. Because it's clear Putin is, as executive heads of state of Russia, responsible for war crimes committed in Ukraine. It's clear. But therefore, it's clear. It was clear for me from the outset that Mongolia will not execute. They have a keen interest in seeing Putin in order to discuss in detail their part in the future gas pipe relying Russia and China. That's the key.
Right.
The Mongolian peoples.
Right. What does all of this mean for the ICC's legitimacy? It is a huge question with regards to the execution of its arrest warrant, also vis-a-vis the action that has been taken.
Yes, but please, We are talking about Mongolia. What's the role of Mongolia within the ICC? Is it an important member state? No. It's a small member state comparable, let's say, to big shots as India, as China, as the Europeans or the Americans. And therefore, please don't attack too much a small state like Mongolia. This will be wrongly accused at the end of the day. They can't take this responsibility to detain Putin's place. You can't ask this small state.
Right. What is your assessment of the larger impact that Russia's outreach, that Putin's visits have been having while the war has been going on, while all of this accusation has also come to the forefront, his outreach and also overall his influence?
Well, influence remains limited, it's clear. It still exists, but it remains limited. But on the other hand, the Indian Prime Minister has been in the Ukraine and in Moscow. Perhaps there is a possibility to come towards a certain negotiation to stop this war at the end of the day. Or the Chinese could be helpful. But internationally, Putin is not at all weakened. He is now step by step strengthened by visits or by activities like this.
All right, we're leaving it there. Yes, go ahead.
It's not helping. Let's call it the necessary, rational and good cause of the ICC. Not at all, because war crimes remain unpunished at the end of the day and unprosecuted. And you attack always what I call smaller countries, smaller member states of the ICC, of the UN family. But the big shots at the end of the day remain unpunished. And where is this weakness of the ICC? It's not a case of a Mongolian state who is too small, let's say, in order to change anything at the international level.
All right, leaving it there. Thanks very much for joining us on the broadcast with those perspectives.
It's a pleasure, as always.
To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.